Look at that. Just like that. The little red thing goes up there and it says live. And look, I'm not even at the microphone.
Oh, amateur hour, DK.
Amateur hour indeed. Happy Taco Tuesday. Does anybody actually have tacos on Taco Tuesday, or is that a thing?
I actually just had some tacos. Well, I had some leftover steak meat. And I had some peppers and onion at the house. You know, I'm on my diet kick, right? So I was like, let me maximize these vegetables before we go out of town. And I was just like, you know what? Boom, tacos. I had some low carb tortillas. And I was like, let's go.
Just like that. Well, speaking of let's go.
Yeah. Where we headed to, DK? Talk to me.
Waiting for you to.
Oh, I missed the cue. I missed the cue. There it is. Yo.
Look at that.
That's what I get for calling you out right there. I'm amateur hour right now, DK. That's what I get.
That's all anybody wants is the bell. It's up and down the stream here.
That's it, DK.
Today is exactly 1 month in advance of the first full day of training camp. Yesterday was 1 month out from reporting date. This is 1 month out from the actual thing getting going.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be that much closer to knowing what's up with this football team.
Yeah.
What I want to do here the next couple of days is to get into some of the other teams that the Steelers are going to be going head-to-head with. Which one of those concerns you the most? And we have to start with Cincinnati. We just have to.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the Bengals, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is
the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, and all those receivers
who
are almost inseparable at this point in the discussion, right?
They really are, DK. They are legit, man. And honestly, I am even more glad now that we went out and did something that counteracts what they did. They got a lot of receivers. We went and got a DB in the second round, DK. That matters a lot.
Well, that's a great way of looking at it. And let's start there, Moan, because there's a couple of ways to attack a team that's coming at you pass heavy. Okay. Yeah. And the Bengals are going to do that. Part of my thinking, I just want to throw this in parentheses here. Joe Mixon can't be Joe Mixon forever. Okay. He just can't.
No, I agree with that.
I mean, running backs' wheels fall off a lot earlier than his have.
Yeah, they have. And they honestly have been speaking about that too. I don't know if Joe Mixon was, high on the list of priorities. I like Joe Mixon. I can't say that, but he's at that point now in his career where you start to question it, right, DK? He's 27 years old. He'll be 28 in July as it stands right now. He's at that point where it's make or break when it comes down to what his career is going to shape up like.
A lot of hard AFC North yards.
A lot. Yes, it has been, DK. So where you headed with him? You slow him down and make them go through the air a little bit more? Because being honest, he does add a nice little balance to what they do offensively. Joe Mixon, if y'all just turning in.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that you have to have people who can stop Joe Mixon regardless, and they have to be up front. I think when you're going after a team that's going to be as pass-heavy as Cincinnati should be, what you have to have more than anything else is pass rush.
Yep.
Got that.
Yep.
Let's not pretend the season opener in Cincinnati last year didn't happen. That first half.
Yes, on his back.
He spent the whole half on his back.
On his back, DK. On his back. That is very true. I'll say this too, DK, before we head even more down this path. The Bengals, since I've been there, have always had guys that kind of, pump the heart. You know what I'm saying? Pac-Man is always – Burfict was one of those guys, man. Whitworth was a heart-pumping type of dude, right? They had a bunch of those dudes. On this team, though, it has been Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase as of late. Even though Joe Burrow is the guy that leads the way, the heartbeat that's pumping that team is those two. If you can minimize one of those guys starting, let's go with Joe Mixon. If you can get him out of it as far as like leading them, then I think you do find yourself in a position, say, can't run the ball because Joe's not working. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to get to the other Joe. And that's where you're right on your point, DK, to say best defense against him is to have him on his back, but to control the offensive flow for us as a team, as the Steelers. keep them off the field because they can make plays.
They can make plays, and they can make big splash plays too, which leads me to the other part of this, and I think you just kind of hinted at it, which is when you get these corners, you get Joey Porter Jr., you get Corey Trice Jr., you get Patrick Peterson. Yes, Cam Sutton is out of the equation now.
Yes, he is.
But when you have these players and you have Minkah back there and you have Minkah versus the Bengals version of Minkah back there, he hates those guys.
Yes, he does. I'll tell you what, there's one thing that he's been able to do. He adopted the AFC style of ball, DK, ASAP. Soon as he came into that locker room, he understood it, man, and I'm glad he did.
All I'm saying is I don't think that the Bengals are unbeatable, whether it comes to facing Pittsburgh or whether it comes to facing anything. And, Moan, I know you have strong feelings about this, but look, if these guys were that great, they did get to the Super Bowl the one time.
They did.
Okay, that's an achievement. It is. Yeah. AFC Championship, especially that team.
Yeah.
Pulling it off. But I don't know, man. I don't feel with the Bengals the way I did about the Chiefs. Well, you could tell right away when the Chiefs were coming, they were coming like a freight truck.
And they showed it. There was nothing you could do about it, too. You know, the other thing, DK, and you know I always go to business side of it, too, right? The business side of this, to me, is this. Cincinnati's entered into a world where they hadn't actually flowed mechanically perfectly, right? There's always a spark plug loose whenever their cylinders are firing, right? For my car guys and ladies out there. How will they manage Joe Burrow's contract, which is on his way, Jamar Chase's, which is on his way, T. Higgins, which is a conversation, and also Joe Mixon's too? How will they manage this? And we're not even mentioning their defensive side of the ball, and they got ball players there.
See, the thing is Burrow has been quoted recently as saying, look, I understand my role that I have to play here from a payroll standpoint and whatever else. Give me I
wish he would take the quarterback market.
Show me the quarterback who does that. Ben arguably did it in the last couple of years.
He did. And there's speculation that Tom may have done it too. I mean, say what you want from it. I don't know if they operate in that fashion when it comes to the Patriots versus the Bengals. It's that portion of it to me to where I say, can Cincinnati sustain being good with this amount of talent? And they have a whole lot of it, DK.
They do on offense. I'm still not wild about that defense, and I'm less wild about it after some key losses that they've had in that secondary. I don't know that you're going to see a Cincinnati defense that's going to hold up in the AFC North over the long season. I'm serious here.
I love it. No, I'm with you, DK, because this is the thing. They're two guys they have, Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. They run hot. And we got a guy in Pittsburgh that runs hot all the time. So eventually something does happen. And I don't know what their depth is looking like when it comes down to the defense as far as stopping our run and getting out of their nose tackle that they have. Pretty solid. I got to give it to him, man. I'm finding his name, DJ Reader. Solid dude. But what do we say about those run-stopping guys? You move them around real quick, you tire them out. That's the reason it's important for Keanu Benton to be a guy on our team that can rush the passer, not just be a two-down player. We are in a better spot I think most people are going to give us when it comes down to the AFC North, and not always start with Cincinnati. Always, DK. We always compete with them. We do, man. But, again, talent is what talent is.
When we come back on the Ramon Foster Show, it'll be the only segment that matters, and we'll also be welcoming a new member. Go ahead,
Mon. We will. That's Hey Mon, DK. Simply put, Hey Mon.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Hey. I'm typing up the web address here for everybody to become a member.
Yeah.
And you can see here that is, if I can find it, there it is.
There it is, DK.
Man, struggling a little bit today. DKPS.net/join is where to go to become a member. It's 99 cents a month. You get access to all these cool emojis that you see everybody showing off here, plus some brand new ones that we just added. Alas, We still haven't brought back the Browns helmet as the poop emoji, but maybe we can do that for just one day this week whenever we do bring up the Browns here. I wanted to call attention here to a couple people. Tico Robinson comes in as a new YouTube member here with us.
What's up, Tico?
Welcome. That's awesome. And there's one other one I saw. Victor Simmons is up here. He's with us as well now.
Mm-hmm.
And as Phil correctly points out, it's more burning of the uncle table. That's basically what's happening here. You know what, Moan? There's got to be people here who don't know what the heck that means. Maybe you should do a
refresh
little bit of a recap. Yeah.
The uncle table is this, man. Everybody know we're having a family cookout. You understand, man? Everybody's communicated the entire time. Hey, I got chips. I got burgers. Somebody bring steaks, man. The rich uncle of the family, right? Somebody bring something. We got beer that's coming in. We got sodas coming in. We got everything, okay? But there's always those one or two uncles that just show up empty-handed. You know, they get the biggest plate. They talk the most trash. They tell the biggest lies.
Victor shows up empty-handed without any emojis. He wants to know what's going on. I'm sure our group will help you finding those, Victor.
But they sit at the uncle's table is all we're saying, DK. They sit at the uncle's table. They bring nothing to the conversation but conversation. Nothing to the cookout but conversation.
And just like that, Clay becomes a member.
Hey.
And Late Level comes in, also a member. David has pulled himself away from the uncle table. He's now sitting with the fun people.
Yeah, he don't get the generic sodas anymore, man. He get the name brand sodas now, DK.
We're going to get rolling with the Hey Moan segments here. And don't forget that there's a Hey Moan emoji to go with your little terrible towels and your Ramones and your 73s and everything else here. Matthew asks, Hey Moan, I'm seeing that training camp tickets are on sale today, and that is accurate. Can you explain why the Friday Night Lights session is so special? I'm thinking of heading down.
You should head down. You get as close to the players as you possibly can without being on the field. That's first and foremost. All guys, including your franchise quarterback and your wide receiver and Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, I almost call him JJ, will be out there too. But it really is just a community thing. I don't think you're going to see a better crowd come out than what Latrobe presents to you. The fireworks show after the scrimmage that we'll have. And it's just set up in a way that it becomes very personable, DK. I think it's very personable. You can hear the clacking of the pads, the crowd, the theatrics that go along with it. It's beautiful. It's everything about Latrobe, DK. If you're a fan, it's beautiful.
Well, just to be clear here, Friday Night Lights does not happen at St. Vincent College.
No. Okay,
that's an important point to make here. It happens at Greater Latrobe Memorial High School, which is a couple miles away from there. It's a little more challenging from the logistical standpoint. Moan wouldn't know about that because those guys getting these police escorts and choppers and machine guns everywhere. They don't sit in traffic, those guys.
Yeah.
They take 7 buses to take 20 people. All spread out. Everyone has their own multiple rows. Anyway, you get there, and it's a high school atmosphere. Now, the thing is that this confuses some people. They get there, and they think that they're going to see a game.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
No, it's not a game. It's set up like Friday night that is football in your hometown, and they got the lights on. The players are there. It's a good time, DK. It really is. I think management, ownership is there. Management is there. The scouts is there. Everybody's there. And you get more game setting, more of a game setting type of practice. It's really a dress rehearsal for us, too.
More members coming in. Clay, who's already a member, comes in with a $5 contribution and asks, Hey, Moan, how do you see Spencer Anderson fitting in with this offensive line? Do you think his experience at every position will make him a valuable piece? Man, do we never talk about Spencer
We don't
Anderson.
talk about Spencer. We don't. I feel bad. Clay, I appreciate you bringing that up because he deserves that highlight, being a 7-round guy. Biggest thing that he brings, his size and his low pay. He's a 7th rounder. You have that portion of it right there to me. He's played at Maryland with Coach Tomlin's son for a little bit. So Coach T knows what type of guy he is because he's got a firsthand scouting. His value is just that. All Spencer has to do in his first year, DK, and you let me know if I'm wrong, show some angriness, that he's competent enough to handle the plays and be a pro and gradually get better. he is a valuable piece of it because there has to be somebody who's a swing guy. There has to be somebody that can be the game day 7, and he can be one of those guys in year 1 if he gains that experience, man. I think he fits in well, especially at his value.
Well, the thing about somebody who's taken that late, no offense, or not taken at all.
No, that's beautiful to me. It's the game. It's the business.
Is you got to have an awareness and you've got to have a goal. The awareness is, okay, what is my ceiling, et cetera, or what do they perceive my ceiling to be?
Yeah.
And from there, what's my goal? Well, my goal is to get work in the National Football League.
It is.
Okay. So where do you take that?
And with all the hoopla of Dan Moore, Chooks, Broderick Jones that he was drafted with, and James Daniel, it's a very solid group. Isaac coming in. Do not be looking around. You focus in on you and get better day by day. That is what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I just think when you're coming in like that, you've got to have an awareness, and the fact that he can play multiple positions will, not should, but will give him an advantage.
It's so helpful
over anybody who can't do that.
As a young guy, I'll say this: there's a saying: the more you can do, the longer you stay around. Mm-hmm. The fact that Spencer Anderson got 5 positions he can play. He has a real big opportunity to stick around for a long time.
A little bit of coin comes in with, I think this is the last year for the Bungles to have a shot at the Super Bowl. And when we win the AFC North, it'll make that even harder for them.
Thank you. That window is what it is. LBC, that's what I call you. LBC, it really is. It's just simply because when you're hot, you got to strike. I don't know if Cincinnati is prematurely getting to that point. And what was that, Burrow's second or third year? There may have been a lot because then you do kind of find yourself chasing and going to pay $30 million for a left tackle in Orlando Brown Jr. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot that's got to go right because I think Orlando Brown essentially just got a 2-year deal. And, of course, I just mentioned the contract situation that Cincy has to manage. They got to manage Burrow. They got to manage Chase. They got to manage T. Higgins. DK, you know I'm not lying. There's a lot that's got to go on.
There's a lot that has to happen. Bob Schreiner makes me laugh on a fairly regular basis. Says Joe Mixon in year 7 is about as scary as the kid on Halloween who rings your bell in a Superman costume in a wheelchair. God bless the kid, by the way, for getting around the neighborhood in a Superman costume. All right, nobody's poking fun at that.
No,
but Joe Mixon is not going to be, which is Bob's callous point there.
Yeah, no, absolutely not, man. DK, and this is the thing too. When within the AFC North, all things fair and game. When it comes to trash talking, Cincinnati tormented us with all the stuff they said about our players and locker room and coach. Let Baltimore have it, Cincinnati and Cleveland. It's a free-for-all to me, DK.
Congrats to KP8 on getting married, says Luke. Yeah. I'll join in on that.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That's huge. Stability, DK. Say what you want to about that.
No,
stability.
There's
and
also
love.
And also getting it. You don't want to be doing that stuff in season.
Living the life is what you're saying.
Just, get all the hard stuff, the organizing, the honeymoon, or whatever else. Get it all out of the way now. This is when everybody takes their vacation, by the way, in the National Football League.
It is. It really is.
No, for real.
Okay. No, I know. There shouldn't be probably many people in Pittsburgh except for young guys.
Yeah, Antoine comes in with basically a cheer cry, says the Steelers are going to take the AFC North and the NFL by surprise. We coming.
We do better underneath as underdogs.
He says, Thomas comes in with an interesting one. Hey, Moan, I'm not asking for names, but did you ever have any issues with teammates, whether it was work ethic or if they were just toxic in the workplace? And if you did, how'd you manage those?
We managed them because we were always transparent with one another. That's the first thing that comes about with it. We had a young guy, man, a lineman that was a phenomenal specimen. But we knew he had a bit of a drinking problem, and we knew he had some issues family back home, and we used to just try to get him to understand, look, number one, we got to handle what you can handle. That's your drinking. We can't have you in situations where a car ends up in a bad situation with you in it and somebody on the other side. We attack that situation head on, and I'm not naming names. It's probably somebody you will not ever guess. But we saw a lot in this guy. He just simply did not make it happen. But it was so much friggin' talent there, man. I hate it for him and his situation. But you talk about it. You don't leave any stone unturned when it comes down to that type of stuff.
That's all I want to know is who it was, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I can't tell you because
said no names.
No names. Yeah. But it gets handled in front of that person, not behind that person's back. And again, I always say this, Coach Tomlin and his staff and the front office, Mr. Rooney, they do a good job of being personal and keeping personal stuff away from guys like DK and now myself too.
Mark Lancaster says some members of the media have clowned on Kenny Pickett, saying it's the only ring he'll get. Moan, do you feel that Kenny deserves a little more respect than this? Can I jump in for a second?
Please go off.
Mark, I'm going to help you out with something here. When you say some members of the media, come back to me. I'm going to put your answer on the screen here as to what it is that you're talking about. I don't need names, but if you're talking about talk show hosts, generally speaking, you are not talking about members of the media. And I really, really don't like when these get confused. There are people who are on the scene covering the team as reporters, and they get lumped in. We get lumped in with everybody who's got a microphone everywhere, okay, who don't come and cover the team. And it's just very, very different.
Well,
okay. And then now it's not even Wood says media sounds like social media. No, it's not that.
Nah.
Okay. Media means people who are covering the team.
Are you credentialed or not?
Are you in or are you not? It's as simple as that. So when you say some members of the media are clowning on KP8, I could go through the list of every single person who covers the Pittsburgh Steelers and assure you that that did not happen. Go ahead, Moan.
And not just to add to that too, and I'm going to say this as being a podcast guy now too, a lot of people start podcasts that have big voices too. That also doesn't go through the school of journalism. I know that's really splitting hairs when we talk about.
It's not though. It's a difference.
I know, but a lot of those guys, including myself, look at themselves as being valid, right? DK, when you talk about, man, now I got a following and people listen to me. Not everything comes through or have the journalistic background that a guy like DK has. That no, you can't plagiarize. If you have a source, you have to say that. If like there's so many checks and balances.
You and I had those conversations because you've written articles for us for DK Pittsburgh Sports, and a couple of times on pretty sensitive issues. Okay, remember we wrote about social and you wrote about social injustice at the time. I say we because we had you and a staffer writing at the same time on similar subjects. I did a piece on it. That was serious stuff, and you couldn't just la-di-da it with the facts the way you and I can on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I take that journalism stuff. That's why I always say I'm a small J journalist. DK is a big J journalist, okay?
So nobody in the Pittsburgh media is hating on Kenny. Let's be real clear on that.
And nobody was going at you either, Mark. It's just that I'm with DK on that type of stuff. The jokes are part of social media, but those dudes aren't Pittsburgh media when it comes down to it, or NFL media, if we're being honest.
Yeah, see, Mark comes back. He says, apologies. I don't need to apologize. I'm
glad
you brought it up. That's why I put it on the screen, and that's why I just put this on the screen, too. It's not apologies. I want to set that record clear for everybody.
Yeah.
That when you're listening to a talk show and someone is, just like we are here now.
Yeah,
that ain't media.
And also, too, if you ever want to get DK riled up, lump him in with those guys. That's a ding, ding, ding. That'll get the bill going.
Timothy Waters says, again, regarding Kenny, that talking heads in the national media and fantasy world say he's limited, not great, solid at best. They just look at numbers. What's the number that matters, Moan?
The wins and losses,
okay.
DK.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Let me say this, too. Everybody, Tim, from the Uncle's Table, my brethren, hey, everybody's is marginalized. Everybody has their plus and their minuses. Everybody got something, I promise you, that they're weak at. And you try to minimize it as much as you possibly can, okay? Like, there's no perfect player in the NFL. TJ, not perfect. Cam, not perfect. Mason Cole, not perfect. Like, that whole idea that you're going to get a Tom Brady mixed with a Patrick Mahomes mixed with a Peyton Manning, that don't exist, y'all. And if he is a game manager, what matters in the end, DK?
I understand that it's just the W or the lack thereof.
And I'm going to get off that soapbox and leave it alone. Everybody is a game manager in the NFL. It's a matter of what kind of positional plays that you make that you're remembered by.
So true. And everybody
got issues, y'all.
I'm going to jump on the soapbox because you can get a soapbox and other great things at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where quality is at the core of every menu item. 3 expert chefs. Daniel Pike is not one of them, but Daniel Pike went out of his way to inform me that or remind me that I need to be doing this. 3 expert chefs. They fine-tune every detail, Moan, so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for what they refer to as craveability. Mm-hmm. Order your favorite entry at Get Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it, because Daniel Pike does.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. This was a good one from the Uncle's Table, DK. I got to get him one right here. Hey, Moan, did you ever forget to play? Heck, yes.
How did I never ask you that?
Yeah, man. It's just so. Let me tell you what gets you when you miss, like when you forget to play. Trying to remember the snap count.
Wait. How often did this occur is all I want to know.
Once or twice. Like, it wasn't a whole lot.
Like in your life or a year?
In my professional career. Like, and everybody like forgets, like, what was that play? What? Which way we're going? Like, you see players run into each other. That's a brain fart on somebody to where you miss a play or two. Yeah, it happens a lot, actually.
Yeah, everyone's still coming back with this Kenny stuff. Just manage a win. Kenny, if you tell me what Kenny is physically incapable of doing.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can think of is that he can't zip a ball the way Patrick Mahomes can. Okay.
Who can?
That's it. He's the list.
And Josh Allen can, but it's too much. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Josh Allen can, but what's the finesse in it?
He's throwing it through people's chests.
Exactly. So which one do you want?
Yeah, that's too much. Everybody notices that we have people here in the shop. Listen, you know what, you lurkers and stalkers? You can just come down here and say hello to us. We're at 224 Fifth Avenue. We're wide open to Fifth Avenue. We sell merchandise in addition to having all this other good stuff going on. You know, you don't have to just, I'm going to turn on the show and I'm going to see if I can find who's in the back there.
I got one, man, that's really good too, DK. It came in earlier, man, from my guy, John Saboni. He's like, hey, Mon, is there any player past, future, present you will have liked to play for or against? I got one player, and he used a big rage too. I got one player, and I've always just been a fan of the dude, man, and that's Jerome Bettis.
Oh, that's good.
Jerome Bettis, man, because I just think, number one, I think he was probably one of the best damn teammates you could ever have, and just the style in which he had to use adversity, because people always like said about like Bettis' size. It didn't matter. Because when Sunday, Monday night hit, guess what he was doing, DK? Running all over people, man.
Yeah.
I'd have loved to been a fly on the wall to block for a guy like Bettis. Like, Bettis he's one of my guys. I was just like, dude, I'm going to shake your hand, but I want to hug you because I've always looked up to you.
Yeah, the bus is legit. There are some people who do that stuff as a shtick or can be kind of two-faced about it. Yeah. The bus is all the way down, man. There's no act there at all here. MH comes in with an interesting question. He says, I love both of you. I'm from Qatar in the Persian Gulf. I am the Steelers diehard.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with us Steelers diehard. I'm poking fun at you.
I love it.
But he might mean it too. Yeah. He is the Steelers diehard. The Steelers will win the Super Bowl after 3 years because they will be more experienced. And Matt Canada is a pain in the... See, it's now a global phenomenon.
It's global. That man can't even go.
In the Arabian Peninsula, they're throwing darts at Matt Canada pictures.
I hope I don't ever be that bad, DK, where I'm known worldwide, baby. Golly, that's tough.
My response to that, MH, is that 3 years doesn't mean anything because you can talk about how much more experienced or whatever older certain guys will be, but you're also not going to have Cam Hayward in 3 years. You're just not. I'm sorry.
Well, if this is year 2 of Kenny's is what I'm hoping, you might get Cam for one more. That's what I was going to say
not for
too.
3.
Not for 3, but for one more, though. This is what I will say about Kenny real quick, though, too. Usually, we're still going to see growth. It's usually 3 years of growth to where you're going to see what your quarterback's going to be. So, take that. That's tough. Worldwide hate.
Wow, look at this. Look what we get here.
And DK challenged Boss to a kick for the Steelers, considering he outkicked his coverage with Dolly.
God, it just won't stop. Slap Murphy says, how great will it be for KP8 to show the 19 teams in front of the Steelers that they made a huge mistake.
That's fair. It would be great for them, but this is the thing, though, too. No team in front of them needed a quarterback that year. That's the only pushback I really kind of have for you. And Kenny was the only one to go in the first round. So
I never heard Kenny get all this or that about a team. That team disappointed me, or I was in their meetings with them and dinner and everything. And it's just, I've never heard that from him. But just for that reason, everyone was waiting on the Steelers to take either Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis.
There's been two, I think, most obvious picks. And that's been, I think Kenny Pickett was one in my time. I've been around the Steelers. And the other one was Marquise.
There was one team. Remember that we thought there was one team that was going to take Kenny. And then when they didn't, we knew Kenny was going to fall to the Steelers. Somebody remind me of that.
What was that? I don't remember who it was, DK. But those are the two most obvious picks in recent history. And Najee was also the most obvious.
Najee was incredibly obvious.
Here,
Slap points out it was Detroit.
Detroit, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it was. We were sure the Lions were going to – wait a second, no.
You sure it was – I don't know if it was the
Saints. Was – for me, it was the – wait a second, Saints, but what about – hang on a second here.
This one's on you, Big J journalist. I forget this one now.
Panthers, but then Gene comes in with the Colts. I'm telling you, I think it's the Saints, and I'm starting to get a bunch of because the Saints were right there in that area.
It was Saints or Atlanta or New Orleans. It was because Atlanta took Ritter in the third round. It was no quarterback. It was Kenny, then no quarterbacks, then a run on quarterbacks. It went Malik, Ritter, and I think one more guy. I think it was Atlanta.
We're going to take a couple more today because I got to head over to PNC Park to cover some great offensive baseball. I saw the bats over there. They're just sizzling. They're on fire. You can feel the heat all the way across the river here.
Got a feeling that's a lie, DK.
Antoine says, hey, Moan, can a quarterback make his throwing arm stronger and gain more zip?
You know what a strong arm comes down to? Confidence. It's like a pitcher. Like if a pitcher can throw a 101, but he can only control it at 95, you're only going to get 95. That to me is exactly what I think a strong quarterback arm is as far as fitting it in tight windows. Do you have the cojones to actually believe you can fit it in there? Because most of the quarterbacks can't. Only time you question it is when you say, I mean, how deep can a guy throw the ball? Most passes aren't more than 40 yards at a time, right, DK?
So that's about right. That's about right.
Yeah,
Kenny can get it
40 yards.
He can
easily
hit the distances.
Yeah.
He was just doing it now in OTAs and minicamp. That's not an issue.
I think it's just, do you call yourself a gunslinger or not? That's what it really boils down to, DK.
He wants to throw a catchable ball. That was the way Calvin Austin put it to me. He said he throws a catchable ball. That's all we care about. We don't care about the force or the velocity. We haven't bullied anybody today, Moan.
We have not bullied anybody today, DK.
Welcome, Alan Dennison.
What's up, Al? AD?
You're going to regret this one, Al.
AD, I'm talking about real good statement right here, man. Real good statement, but we can't even take it serious, DK.
Yeah, it's not.
You brought no snacks to the cookout?
No snacks to the cookout. He showed up. He didn't even bring potato salad, and nobody wanted his potato salad in the first place.
I wish you would bring that. Alan, what we need from you is this, AD. I feel like we know you because you're uncle. We need this.
Yes.
We need you to go ahead and become a member, man, so we can take you more serious. Now you're the uncle that's playing around on the side and just chilling. Like, get off the uncle table, AD. That's all we're asking, man.
DKPS.net/join is the place for Alan to go. We're getting close to 500. Remember, we had actually once topped 500, and now we're getting close to it again. We're 7 members away from getting back to 500. Remember that our ultimate goal here when we throw the big party and deliver merchandise will be when we get to 1,000.
See, and Alan can take it too. He can take it.
Come on, Alan. Come on, Alan. I don't see green there. We need to see green. Steelers girl says, hey, Moan, will you be at the Titans game in Pittsburgh?
Yes, I will. I will be there. I wanted to come up with camp, but I got a lot of other stuff going on in between that time. But I'll be there for that game.
You're on the board at St. Vincent College, right?
Yes, I am. I got to get more active too, but I am on the board. But yes, DK, I will be up for that, and I'll be up that Wednesday, so we can probably do something at the shop. So let's plan it.
I got somebody next door you'd want to see as well.
That's my dude, man.
Yeah.
Shay's here. That's my dude. Oh, man, I had a random call from Jarvis Jones today. I bet you didn't imagine that happened on the podcast.
My man, 95. I know people they all think negative thoughts because it didn't work out, okay? But there's not a better guy.
Such a solid
Jarvis
dude.
Jones.
He ended up mistakenly calling. He was meant to call his former teammate Rambo, but he called Ramon instead. And I was like, you mean to call me? He was asking me, was it my birthday? And I'm like, no. I was like, Jarvis, what's going on, man? Let's rap. We talked like 25 minutes on the phone, just catching up. He is doing really good at Georgia, too, by the way. He's on their staff coaching. If you watch college football, you know what Georgia's up to.
What a coach he'll make, too. I once asked him, I was at his locker stall, and I asked him to just give me a video to demonstrate some kind of technique.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, I had the video.
Did you?
He went into such excruciating detail. I was like, dude, just sack some people because we love you. Just get back there and sack people.
We can talk about that because that's a fine line, DK, from like being a really good player, great, to like being a really good coach, man. You know it. It's a matter of getting your body to do certain things.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Phil says he's going to miss all this. I don't know what you're missing, Phil, because we're wrapping up here because I gotta head over.
And somebody wanted some love, man. Kevin, we'll give you some love, man. Maybe I'll get some love at some time. Kevin, there you go, man. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. I don't know, DK. He just wanted some love.
Is Kevin a member?
Yeah, he's a member. Big member out here.
Kevin, we're just going to leave you on the whole show now.
Yeah, go grab AD, man, so we can get him over here. Come on, Alan. Yeah, exactly. What we got going on? All kind of love over here.
Oh, boy. All right, guys. Like I said, I got to do other work here today and everything else, and we'll be back tomorrow with another one of these.
On hump day, y'all. Come on, man. Come right.
That's right. That's right.
Don't hang around. There's absolutely nothing to hang around for either, DK.
No, there never is. There never is.
No, not this time. Not this time.
What is that?
Hey, this is what I have for Spencer Anderson. When you ask me how valuable it is, hard work beats time. I keep this close for my kids.
I like it.
Hard work beats talent. If you're a 7th-round draft pick, you better work hard because a lot of others in front of you had talent.
Well, he's got talent too. I mean, you had talent. It's just you don't get drafted doesn't mean you don't have talent.
But for a guy like him, he needs to show his hard work to survive first, is what I'm saying.
There's a chronological. That was kind of the point that I was making, right?
Yeah.
You tell me you lived it. I didn't.
Broderick Jones, he got it right.
Survive before you do anything else.
100%, and that's where that hard work comes into play. Like nobody's going to question Broderick Jones, right?
No.
But they're going to question Spencer Anderson.
You could come in 600 pounds overweight as a first-round pick, and they're not cutting you in your first camp.
They're going to work you down. No, absolutely not. Y'all be cool, man. We love y'all, man. Hey, AD, we'll get you over here to the Out of the Uncle's table soon.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, tomorrow.
See y'all.